Hi there, my name's Oisín Lunny. I help great people, companies and organisations tell their best stories through events and podcasts. Events like the beautiful iGaming Next in the gorgeous city of Valletta in Malta, and I hope to see you all there later this year. Okay, so we are going to talk today about a subject matter that's very close to the industry and very close to my heart. It's about personalisation. Now, of course, it's a powerful force that really propels today's competition between online casinos. And the concept, of course, is not brand new, as we all know, but the playing field has changed. So simple personalisation that entails manually refreshing a casino lobby from time to time just doesn't cut it anymore. You know, we're in this world of the attention economy. Online casinos even, they're no longer just competing with each other, they're competing with any great experience outside of the iGaming sector. So any brand that can engage players with more exciting content and a better, more personalised experience will win in today's attention economy. Now, one startup platform and white label provider, the Mill Adventure, has stepped up to help online casinos tip the scales in their favour with a first of its kind called SmartLobbies. And I'm delighted to welcome to the special iGaming Next Spotlight session the CTO at the Mill Adventure, Łukasz Dziedzia. Welcome, Łukasz. How are you, man?
I'm okay. Welcome, Oisín. It's really nice to be here. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, fantastic. Well, the pleasure is mine. Where are you joining us from today, Łukasz?
I'm based in Krakow, Poland.
Fantastic. That's very high on my list of places to visit. I've got Polish blood going my way back, so I will absolutely let you know when I'm heading over there. So tell us a little bit before we get into the whole thing of smart lobbies. I think it'd be great for our viewers to understand a bit about your good self, Łukasz, and what was it like working on the development, leading the development of smart lobbies at the Mill Adventure?
Okay, so yeah, my name is Łukasz. I'm doing software development for more than 20 years, professionally more than 15. I'm in iGaming industry for more than 7, almost 4 years at the Mill Adventures, and yes, for some weeks I'm having the CTO position here. SmartLobbies is, to be honest, one of my most favorite projects that we did in the company. It was fun, it was challenging. Right now I see it more from a view of, accomplishments or achievements than challenges, but it was a very interesting project, and I think it's actually a very interesting project if someone is interested about the Mill Adventure, how we do things, what we do, and why we do those. It's a really good topic to pick because then I think we'll cover most of it today during the talk, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Fantastic. Thank you, Łukasz. So that sounds like a very exciting time, and congratulations on the promotion to CTO. That is awesome news. Absolutely brilliant. So let's kind of have a look at smart lobbies. Could you give our viewers a quick explanation about, what it is, how it works, what are the key points they should know about smart lobbies?
Sure, definitely. Let's see what's the problem. So what is actually a lobby, right? So a lobby, if you open any casino site, you will see a list of games. So this is essentially a lobby. And, it may sound trivial. It's just a list of games, so how hard it is to present it, right? But if you look closer at the problem, there is a few things that will appear. So first of all, as you mentioned at the beginning, there is this attention economy. And right now, it's not really nothing fancy. It's actually a must-have to provide your users with relevant content. What they actually expect from the entertainment side is that they will not configure the experience. The experience will be there, and their experience will follow their journey, right? So this is the first thing, and this is actually where we started. This is our dream from the beginning with smart lobbies. Then we also realized that there is this important aspect of discoverability. So, the gaming platforms invest a lot of time and effort and money to bring new content. And they have thousands of games. And again, if you imagine this online casino, you have maybe 20, 30, 50 games on even that you see, right? On mobile, it will be even less. So you have limited opportunity that you need to, show precise content to the exact user. So your users are unique. Your lobby also needs to be unique, right? So this is very important. What we see based on our data is that 70% of the game interactions are happening from the first lobby positions, from the first 10 lobby positions. So this is really important to actually be very precise on those, what you are showing to the players. So that is second factor, which is, aims for the discoverability of your content. And finally, what we heard from our partners and what we know from the industry is that the lobby management is actually quite time-consuming work. It requires a lot of time to prepare the lobbies. Depending on your workflows, you will need to update CMS. You will need to maybe do some research, which games are trending, which games are popular. That's a lot of time, right? And if we can automate that, imagine how much time you can gain to do something else, to do something that is more, business oriented or more relevant to your to your needs. So those were the key motivations for the Smart Lobbies for this project. This is where we started and why we did this project.
Awesome. And automation is a word that's on everybody's lips at the moment with the likes of ChatGPT and the role of machine learning and AI in these solutions. But we're going to come to that topic a little bit later. So You've kind of talked about, the key features and reasons why smart lobbies need to be there. That 70% response rate when people come into a lobby, that really dictates the rest of their experience in many ways. And it's such an important space. It does have to be personalized. The smarter that can be, the better the experience for the player. So let's take a deeper dive into what makes the smart lobbies actually smart. Talk to us about the building blocks that can make up some of these really attractive features to maximize that player engagement and the customer experience.
Yeah, this is a really good question. When you think about smart lobbies, or when you say smart lobbies, you will immediately come to this recommendation engine, right? Because that's where you have the machine learning, all the fancy algorithms. But it's more than that. I mean, knowing more about it, for me, it's way more than that. So to actually have smart lobbies, we have a few components. We have, first of all, we have game catalog. So game catalog is basically a collection of games that we offer. And before we even started to think about smart lobbies, started to being something we had to improve our game catalog. We had to clean up some data. We had to build some tooling so it's easier to manage that. We need to bring some automation to even that part, right? Because there is still a bit of manual work, and we wanted to be it for us as small as possible. Then, when we speak about the game catalog, the important part that we realized is missing to think about the dreams we have. Was the metadata about the game itself, because we as a platform provider, we know a lot about the games, about their mechanical properties like RTP, volatility levels, bonus hit frequencies, release rolls, all that we have. But there was actually important part that was missing about the content of the game. So what the game is about? Is the game about vampires, music, Guns N' Roses, all that? So what colors the game is, or what features the game has. So all that was missing in our game catalog, and here is where we had very successful partnership with Slot Catalog to bring that metadata to our platform, which is crucial for the rest of the lobbies. Then we realized also that there is actually many scenarios for the lobbies that are that maybe don't need personalizations, or personalization can improve it. But the main use case is something else, like maybe the popular games or the trending games in your casino. This is based on the data that we already have, and the challenge here was to get this huge pipeline of the data that we have about game activity and convert it to something that the lobbies can use in a very fast, and cost-effective way. By the end users. So we call that smart metrics. It's basically real-time data aggregated into game metrics that we can use for lobbies. And actually we right now use it also for some other use cases in the platform. So it's not only lobbies. And finally, we have this cherry on top, which is recommendation engine, which is obviously super cool, and it kind of gives those extra powers and brings these personalizations that is super important, as we mentioned. So I think this is what makes it smart. It's not like a single piece of it. It's more like all those components work together, and finally how they are packaged in the final tool that is very easy to use.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've just outlined there a whole suite of individual tools that come together. They make more than the sum of their parts. You've got machine learning in there. You've got slot catalogs, smart metrics. Could you give us an example of how this would all come together? What kind of game lobbies can be created with the Smart Lobbies tool?
Okay, yeah, sure. So in essence, to build a lobby, you always need to do 4 things. It's always the same. You first start with the list of games initial list of games. So that can be all games, recently released games, most popular games, or recommended games. Then you can apply some filtering, like, select which game studio you want to narrow down, or what features, what volatility level, what tags, themes. Finally, you can alter the ordering as well if you want. This is optional. And then you tell how big is the lobby, so it's 20, 50, 100 games. And that's it. And that for any scenario, you will need to follow those 4 steps. So The examples, I think my favorite example is the lobby, just recommended games with some teams. So maybe like right now we are in the winter season here. So maybe you'd like to have winter lobby for certain countries, and you would just basically pick recommended games with the theme of winter or with snowman and snowflakes, and that's it. That's your lobby. It's literally what you need to do. Then. I mean, with the recommendation, I think really nice use case is this lobby that helps for the discovery of your game catalog, which also from the streaming sites like you may also like. So this is basically recommended games that you never played before. So there is only unique new content for you there. Then on top, based on smart metrics, you can build so many scenarios. You can have most popular games, trending games in your country, or you can have most popular games by the user itself. So you'll have this very nice access to the games that the user knows the most and plays the most. So you can also have this kind of lobby somewhere in your site. And finally, you can have some even simpler ones, like maybe you just want to have games for a particular game provider of particular features, and you can again personalize it. So you can select that games and tell that I want those games to be personalized, so that every player will see different order of lists, different order of games on the site. And in the end, there is also, you can even select that you want to have random games. So if you want to have something completely fresh, you can just have random games. And I think one of the favorite tools for the people that actually use the site is the option to pin any game. So if you have a promotion or agreement with some game provider that some game needs to be promoted, then you can pin it on any lobby, on any position you want, and it will stay there regardless of the previous options that you selected. So this is in essence how it looks, how it works. And to be honest, this is all about it. I just gave you a training how to use SmartLobbies, and you can go and use it.
Fantastic. I feel ready to dive in already. But it sounds like you're kind of packaging up a lot of different, complexity. You've got machine learning. You've got all these, metadata in there, and you're bringing it together in a way that's very simple for the end user, your clients, to just organize these personalized smart lobbies as folks are watching in, giving the most compelling content they could possibly have. But talk to us a bit about our friends at iGaming Next are very tech savvy. They like to know what's under the hood. So can you, as CTO, take us under the hood of the sophisticated recommendation engine? What's happening with the tech?
Okay, so obviously recommendation engine is one of the critical parts of the project, and for us it was really important to put the right tool into place, right? Because we were a small company, we were even smaller when we were doing the project. So we had to be smart about it as well. We had to put the right player to the game, and we luckily enough for us there is this tool called Amazon Personalize, which is developed by AWS. It actually is a tool that comes from the years of experience they have in bringing recommendations to the e-commerce business. And some years ago, they packaged it in a service that allows everyone to build their personalization workflows. So that seemed like a perfect tool for us because we are already on AWS cloud and we are very well integrated there. And the tool, to be honest, as a developer working on it, it was just a pure joy to work with. It's very well documented, very nice, very well structured, easy to use. I think it's a bit like SmartLobbies, so it hides a lot of complexity in a very simple tool to use. And we decided to go with it. So how we use it? So how we use Personalize? So you have 3 data sets. You have your users with just basic properties like the language they speak, age, right? And there we have a second data set for the games, which have everything we know about the game. So that's the game name, all the properties like RTP, volatility levels, bonus hit frequency, reels rows, plus also this data that we know from slot catalog about the game content, so the tags. I think this is actually very important for the personalization, right? Because this is probably what personalization would pick on. So. And finally, we have also interactions, so the games that players played. And having that, there is a lot of algorithms inside the tool that are involved. But one of the ones that I think is most interesting is the algorithm called neural network. This is basically a model of a brain that you have multiple layers of thousands of neurons, and they signal to each other. They try to communicate with each other, and basically you train that network showing the input pattern. You get something and you know what you expect, and then based on how far is it from what you expected, you can tell the network to correct the data, and you iterate multiple times, thousands of times, and then you get a model. And in that model, you need to actually compare different models, so you need to run this process many times. with different parameters to see which model works the best for you, because you don't want that solution to be overtrained. You want to find some patterns, but you want it also to be good at generalization. So there are some ways to measure that, and once you have that, you also need to connect it with your real data, because this model itself is quite static. But whenever there is a new game, you would like to show it as recommended, probably, right? Or whenever a user makes a new interaction, you know that his interaction changes, and you would like to also alter the recommendation for him. This is actually quite nice, because if you use the SmartLobbies, you will see that I was doing some tests. For instance, if you start playing the games with the music team, right, you will see that there is more and more games with guitars and some bands showing up. So this is basically how it works with this real-time connection. So it also reacts to what's happening in real time. When you have that, basically you can ask the questions. Please give me recommended games, or if I give you the list of games, how you would order that. So the most recommended one would be on top of that. This is, in an essence, very the fastest way I could explain it. But it's a lot of complexity. But I think what is really good about SmartLobbies is that it hides all of that behind a simple tool. So if you just go there to our back office, you will just select give me recommended games, and that's it.
Well, fantastic. That was a great explanation of artificial intelligence. And I think you mentioned music games there. I would like at this point to point out that both Łukasz and myself do have musical instruments in the background. So we will be high on the music games radar there in terms of SmartLobbies. Now, Łukasz, you mentioned slot catalogue again there. This seems like an element that's very important to the whole SmartLobbies experience. Can you tell us a bit more about, really what the tech is and how it dovetails with SmartLobbies?
Yes, definitely. A very important aspect of giving good recommendations and building good lobbies is to have good data. And we were kind of limited with our data when we started this project. So this is where we actually stumbled upon and started partnership with Slot Catalog. And I have to say it was amazing part of the project. I mean, besides of technology, you have different things that you admire in the project, and that was definitely a highlight of this because they have fantastic team, great tech people, great product, and I think what we managed to build is this kind of unique partnership where you have two companies or two sides that are very creative to try to help each other. So we agreed on sharing some knowledge, and they basically give us the method that we needed. We give them also some insights from our platform so they can improve their product. So in the end, we are both benefiting from it. And I think I personally really enjoy working with them. And to be honest, I'm looking forward for the next projects with those guys.
Oh, fantastic. Well, it sounds like you both hit the jackpot there, both Slot Catalog and SmartLobbies. So let's kind of stay with this feature and this kind of integration. What were the key issues and challenges that came up during the development of the feature of SmartLobbies?
Okay, yeah, of course. I mean, from the technical perspective, it wasn't a very straightforward way to get where we are. So first of all, the recommendation that we spoke about, right? It was many hours that we spent on the research, on trying, failing. What really helped here was actually some support that we get from the AWS solutions team, that they worked with us together to understand our use case and to try to find the best way to move forward with some problems that we face on. So that was definitely very very interesting, for the developer, for an engineer. That was a super interesting part, but it was time consuming, and there was so many questions right on the way, and sometimes you didn't know where you are going, and that was definitely a big challenge for the project itself. But I think what was even more complex for us was to tackle this huge pipeline of the game activity that we have. This is the biggest stream of data that we have in the platform, and to compute that to something that lobbies can use in a very fast and effective way. So smart metrics. Was also not trivial. I think the key to the success was the teamwork, and we actually had a few brainstorming sessions, and we managed to find a good solution for it. But that was you don't see it right now when you use the lobbies, but I think that was one of the the biggest difficulties that we had as well from the technical standpoint. And then I think what is even more important or even more challenging. So right now we are speaking about the final solution that looks very easy and it does a lot of nice things. But to get there, or where we started, was actually this soup of ideas, and everyone had different ideas, opinions, and everyone sees it differently. So we had to get from this place to that. So there's a lot of iterations on the product design and how actually to understand what you want to do. To be honest, if you know what you want to do, right, and the technical part is usually quite easy, or you can do it in a finite amount of time. But to get to the place where you know what you want to do and how and what you want to achieve, this is usually the most tricky part. I think our secret sauce here is the way we work with our partners, and actually, in fact, we call them partners, not the clients, because we try to cooperate them. And the way we do it is that very often we have developers working directly, having call or chatting with the people that actually use the product. And we did the same here. So first we have, a lot of business knowledge internally, because pretty much every engineer in our team has an experience already in iGaming industry. And there are people on other positions that also have this experience, but also we have our partners that we in this process we many times we ask them about the feedback, or ask them for their ideas, or that's how we get actually to this quite nice and easy tool. Because we many times validated our ideas, and we try to always simplify things. We didn't want to build something complex, but we wanted to make something useful. And I think this was crucial for this project, this kind of interaction. This is what we want to keep as well. Of course, it's different when you have one partner, 10 partners, 100 partners, right? You need to have a bit different ways of working. But this principle of working closely with partners is very important for us.
Fantastic. Again, music to my ears, good UX, iterative design, user-centered design, working with your partners. But I'm curious to know about what are the results. You say this solution is live, are you getting any feedback from casino operators? Is it successfully improving the player's iGaming experience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when it comes to feedback, I actually like this to remember that first time I think one of the first time we presented the lobbies to our partners as a production ready solution. Someone said it's too good to be true, and that was really good sign for the future for us. But that was really nice to hear that time after those weeks or months of heavy work. But then when we speak with right now, the feedback we get right now from the people that use SmartLobbies, as their daily the tool they use on a daily basis, is that it actually it successfully manages to cut a lot of work. So different people have different workflows, but I even heard from my friend that it's 99% of his time that he doesn't need to do right now on managing SmartLobbies, because it's happening automatically. But we get a lot of feedback, and actually I think the best sign for it is that we don't really get too many feature requests or the complaints about the tool. It's just pretty complete right now the way it is. So that's I think from the side of the people that use the lobbies, SmartLobbies to manage casino lobbies.
Okay, so you've kind of come to a natural end. You talked about the casino operators' reduction of effort, and so this is sounding like a win-win solution for the casino operators, but has there been any feedback from the players themselves?
Yes, we have some insights to that as well, of course. We have multiple brands, and they operate on different markets, so every time it looks differently. But what we observe for all of them is that average game session duration for the game that is selected from the SmartLobbies is up to 20% higher than the one selected from the other source. So that's definitely for me it's a proof that if you show relevant, personalized content to the player, they will be more engaged and they will spend more time. And what we see as well is that the discoverability of the game catalog on many brands looks quite good as well. We see that brands that's depending on the brand itself, because they have different strategies or different structure of the site, and they have different lobbies, right? But we have brands that are able to on a daily basis to make players to play most of their games that they have in the game catalog. So players explore and actually play hundreds of games. So all games from the catalog are covered for certain brands. So I think this is also very important, because then you are assured that the players have the fresh content and they are not stuck with one game or two games, right? They explore, and probably that has some impact on retention.
Absolutely. You're mixing it up, so keeping things live, keeping that kind of exciting feeling that the players go in the lobby, and actually giving them what they want based on the data. Win, 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 tick, tick, tick. I have one last question for you now, Łukasz. What is next for Smart Lobbies? It seems like very exciting times are ahead.
Of course, it's not our last word in the field of personalization, for sure. We are following closely what are the improvements to the recommendation engine from AWS are coming up, and there is quite actually a few things that we would like to try with. For instance, there is this idea of introducing domain bias to your model. So if you have, for instance, the two games that are equally or almost equally likable by the player, you can also make alter the order of them based on maybe commercial deal or maybe the commission that you have on the game, right? So this is definitely with the numbers that we see right now as our partners' revenues are growing, and it will pay off at some point to invest in those kinds of optimizations as well, for sure. But then I think also what is interesting is that we also have other tools, right? We have tournaments, we have Betpool, our social gaming solution, which I think you will soon speak with my friend Bjorn about. So there we have those other tools in the platform or campaigns. So it's really interesting to see how we can connect them together, and how we can actually bring them together to build something new on top of that. So right now, even what we did with tournaments, just for example, is that if you build our tournament, you select list of the games that you would like to have for tournament, you will use the same form as you use for building the lobby. So even if it's not a lobby, you have the same tool that you know from other plays. Usually it will be the same people using that. So even to simplify the user experience, we are trying to reuse here some components here and there. But also imagine that you can, instead of giving someone a free spin bonus on everyone on the same game, you will give the free spin bonus on the recommended game for the player, right? Or instead of, right now we have lobbies for single users, but we also have this concept of a group of users that can play together. So maybe you can also build a lobby for them or based on that interaction. So those are the areas that we definitely want to explore, because I think that's where we can build some good tools and improve our offering further.
Dziękuję, Łukasz. That was absolutely fascinating. So viewers, don't forget, if you would like some more information about the power of smart lobbies and see a demo for yourself, just reach out to Łukasz on LinkedIn or send an email to sales@themill.io. That's sales@themill.io. My name's Oisin Lunny. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, and I hope to see all of you in person over at iGaming Next in beautiful Valletta. Have a great day and keep winning.